Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about dart manipulation, and I'm going to be using my Helen Armstrong book, Pattern Making for Fashion Design. The first material you're going to need for this tutorial is a self-healing mat. Then you're going to need a couple of pencils with erasers. Then you're going to need a marker, your ruler, a bunch of thumbtacks, scissors, a rotary cutter if you have one. You're going to need a thread and a thread cutter, a tape, and a glue stick. You're also going to need your pattern paper and your sewing machine. I'm going to be using a seamless pattern throughout this entire tutorial, which is a pattern without any seams. Now, a pattern with seams usually has a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance at the neckline, 1/2 an inch at the shoulder, armhole, side seam, and waist seam. So now that I'm done transferring my pattern, I'm going to start design 1. So I'm going to label my pattern front so that I know exactly what I'm working with, and I'm going to label center front waist. This is going to be design 1. Now I'm going to label my dart legs A. The dart leg A is the one closest to the center front. And the dart leg B is the one closest to the side seam. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that waist dart excess. So I've labeled my bust point because that's where I'm going to be drawing my slash line to. So you're going to draw a slash line from the center front to the bust point. Once you're done getting rid of the dart excess, you're going to slash that line that you drew. And then close the waist dart, making sure that A and B are touching. So what I'm doing right here is I am gluing 2 newspapers together. This is a very good way of making use of that newspaper that they usually throw at your front porch. And then I'm gonna glue my pattern onto that paper. This is the best way to just avoid wasting pattern paper. So I'm adding my seam allowance. The neck is gonna be a 1/4 of an inch. The shoulder, armhole, side, and waist are all going to be 1/2 an inch. Also, you want a 1/2 an inch seam allowance at your dart. So I'm going to go ahead and label my pattern center front waist dart. The only reason I'm labeling this pattern is so that I know exactly what pattern I'm picking up in the future if I ever decide to use this pattern. So as you can see, that looks very identical to the diagram on the Joseph Armstrong book. So I've cut my fabric on fold so that you guys can see exactly what that looks like. So I've also gone ahead to stitch it with a muslin fabric just so you guys can see, sort of get an idea of what it's going to look like. The next design is going to be my mid-shoulder dart. So for this design, we'll be relocating the waist dart to the mid-shoulder. So what you want to do first is label your bust points and your dart legs. And then you're going to come to the shoulder and sort of find the midpoint by dividing it in two. So now that I have divided my shoulder in two, I'm going to line that to my bust point and label my slash line. Get rid of the waist dart excess, slash your line, and then close those dart legs so that A touches B. And then you're going to tape that shut. I'm going to do the same thing I did for the first design, and I'm going to stick my pattern onto a newspaper and add my seam allowance. So now that I added that seam allowance, you can see that's exactly identical to the pattern in the book. I'm also going to label this pattern mid-shoulder dart so that I know exactly what pattern it is, just in case I decide to use it in the future. I went ahead and I cut that on fold for you guys. I also went ahead to stitch that. So the third design is the center front neck dart. For this design, we'll be relocating the waist dart to the center front neck. Label your bust point and draw a slash line from your center front neck to the bust point. Label your legs A and B, and then get rid of the dart excess on the waist dart. So once I get rid of that dart excess, I'm going to slash my line from my center front neck to my bust point. So now I'm going to label my center front neck dart, and as you can see, it's very identical, if not exactly the same as the image on the textbook. I cut that on fold for you guys, and I also went ahead to stitch it so that you guys can see what it's going to look like if you decide to ever use that design. On the fourth design is the French dart. So basically, the French dart can be placed at any angle below the straight dart. I'm going to show you guys in another video how to identify your dart locations. So we're going to label the French dart, and that's the end of today's tutorial. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please make sure you put it down in the comment section below, and I will try my best to get those questions answered. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.